Here we are again, 9 weeks in, and it's chapter 9 today, and I'm rocking my new shorter hairstyle. Hope you like it and hope you enjoy listening. It was Friday at last. Charlie had left for school and I could see that the heartbreak hadn't lasted long. My daughter was obviously made of stronger stuff, or perhaps she hadn't really been in love with Craig as deeply as I had been with James. Driving into Hereford for work, I heard my phone beep. Once I had parked, I glanced at the screen. It was Sarah. "Hi Steph, are you doing anything tonight, as Chris is away and I need a good gossip and a glass of wine or two?" I quickly replied, "Sure, head over whenever you like. Probably going to get a takeaway in for Charlie and I, so you're more than welcome to join us." Sauntering into the studio, I waved through the glass at Paul and he waved back and held his mug up. I nodded, knowing that this was the sign for coffee. I read my emails and noticed how many replies we had already received from local bands and performers interested in our Rock on the River event in the summer. I quickly tapped out a couple of replies and sent them off. I hoped it was going to be a great experience, helping to organise something so huge for such a small place like Ross. As I passed Paul on the way into the studio, we exchanged a quick couple of words whilst the news played in the background. "Have you seen all the replies we are getting for the event?" he said. "Yes, it's great. By the way, my daughter's college group would like to perform." "Oh great, the more the merrier." Then he stopped. "Is Charlie that old already?" "Yeah, she's 17 this year. I can't believe it myself," I replied. "You'll have to bring her into the studio sometime." "Oh, I don't think she'd be interested in seeing where her boring old mum works." Getting home later, I went straight upstairs and pulled open the loft door and the extending ladder. I'd been thinking about James and my diary all day, and I wanted to see if I could find any more of his letters. I knew that I'd kept them. It was just a case of locating the right box amongst all the other junk that I had thought it necessary to keep. After a few boxes that yielded nothing, I pulled another one towards me and sat down on the floor. Inside were a number of photo albums, and I quickly skimmed through the ones from my early childhood. I loved reminiscing, but now was not the time, as I only had a short window of opportunity before Charlotte would be home. I was about to close the box back up when I saw my pink photo album right near the bottom. I was about to pull the other albums aside when I heard the front door bang closed. Goodness, I had wasted a couple of hours surrounded by even more memories of times past. I quickly started to ascend the loft ladder when she appeared on the landing. "Hi Mum, what are you doing?" Charlotte asked. "Oh, how was college?" "Okay, managed to avoid Craig all day, so it was cool." "I've just been in the attic looking for something," I replied, hoping she wouldn't spot the lie, "but I'd better get on with some food if you're hungry." "Can you leave the ladder down? I've got some stuff I want to put up there," Charlie replied. "Yeah, starving. Can we have Chinese like usual?" "Yeah, sounds good to me," I replied. "Oh, Auntie Ra is coming. Is probably going to come over as Uncle Chris is still away," I said. I loved reminding her of her aunt's nickname from her childhood. Charlie didn't really have any stuff she needed to put up in the loft. She really wanted to have a hunt around and see if she could find any photo albums. After going through a couple of different boxes, she spied a tatty-looking pink album underneath some old birthday and Christmas cards. Then she found a pile of letters tied together with a red ribbon underneath the album. I quickly inside it confirmed it belonged to her mum, and so Charlotte gathered up her finds and went back to her room, before her mum wondered what was taking her so long. She was just about to open up the photo album when she heard the doorbell sound. "I'll get it," Charlie shouted as she raced down the stairs and skidded across the wooden floor in her socks. "Hi, Auntie Ra," she said. I appeared at the kitchen door. "Hi, Sarah," I said. "Hi, guys. Glad to have an invite for this evening. My house was feeling a bit empty without Chris." Charlie wrapped her arms around Sarah's waist and they walked towards the kitchen. "I've already ordered our usual set menu from the Chinese," I said. "It should be here soon." I crossed to the fridge and pulled out the chilled bottle of rosé wine. "Charlie, can you grab some glasses?" I asked. "So long as I can have one," she replied cheekily. Sarah settled down opposite me at the island unit and smiled. "You're looking well," she said. "What's been going on in your exciting world of radio? I've been working most lunchtimes this week, so I haven't had the chance to hear your voice." She picked up the glass of wine and clinked it against mine. Charlie was busy getting plates and cutlery out. "Good, thanks. We're planning an event for Ross in the summer called Rock on the River. It's to raise money for the hospital." "Perhaps you'd better include libraries in the fundraising. Things are not looking good for us at the moment," Sarah replied, looking downcast. Why? Well, there's hardly any money left in the council reserves, and since the government are cutting back, they're going to be giving us less money to run the service. I should know a little more in a couple of weeks, but I believe we may have a fight on our hands, Sarah said. But enough about work. How is my favourite goddaughter? She said to Charlie. OK, thanks, Charlie replied. Craig finished with me on Tuesday, but I think I'm getting over him already. I saw her smile across at me as if to acknowledge my diary as part of the quick healing process. Mum gave me her diary from 1988, so I'm reading about when you were both my age. Sarah looked across at me with a worried look on her face. She didn't say anything, and the moment was interrupted by the doorbell. This time it was the takeaway. Silence reigned as we laid all the food out and tucked into it. I hadn't realised quite how hungry I was. As Charlie went upstairs to her room, Sarah and I adjourned to the lounge, and I put some music on low. Don't you ever get tired of George? Sarah sighed. No, I replied, curling up in the armchair opposite and taking a sip of my wine. Is it wise, giving Charlotte your diary from 1988? I don't know, but as I have never thrown it away, I knew I must have kept it for some reason, and this seemed like it. Well, OK then, but if you need me for anything, you know you only have to ask, Sarah said. She took a sip of wine and sat back against the pillows. So how long will Chris be away this time? I asked. Until July, Sarah said. I never get used to him being away. I always feel lonely even though we keep in touch every day. Well, you're always welcome here, I said. I know that all too soon Charlie will find another guy and be out of the house most evenings. She looks so much like you. Yes, except for her eyes, and they are definitely her dad's. Do you miss Mark? Of course I do. He was a great father. Yes, and husband to you. I nodded and managed a weak smile. It's OK, it's me. I know you never really loved Mark. I could see it all the times the four of us were together. You always looked distant. Standing up, I walked back into the kitchen to get a breather from my best friend's slight interrogation. It was all true, and even admitting it made me upset and angry at my past. Perhaps it was time that I tried harder to move on with my life. Grabbing the wine, I went back into the lounge and refilled our glasses. It's a good job I'm within walking distance, Sarah giggled. This wine is going straight to my head. Just let it. The spare room is always available. Have you seen Jack recently? She asked. No, but he's forever emailing me with news of his latest romance. Oh, he needs to find a guy to settle down with. He's too old to still be flirting around. We both giggled some more, and then once the wine was finished, Sarah stood up. I'm going to get home now, Sarah said, swaying slightly. OK, hun, thanks for coming over. I stood up and pulled her into my arms for a hug. Charlotte, Sarah's going now, I shouted. We waited and saw her appear at the top of the stairs. She was already in her pyjamas. She hurried down and flung her arms around Sarah. Night, Ra, it was great to see you tonight. And you, Charlie, Sarah responded, dropping a kiss on her forehead. Keep up the dancing, I'm looking forward to your next performance. I will, Charlie replied, I'm off to bed now. On the doorstep, I watched Sarah walk down the drive. Give me 3 rings when you get in, just so I know you're home safely, I shouted. Sarah turned and smirked at me. Who do you think you are? My mother, she shouted back, and then started to giggle again. It was infectious as I stood on the doorstep. It was a cold, clear night, and I looked up into the dark sky. The moon was almost full, and the stars twinkled brightly, making dot-to-dot patterns. Once again I remembered a time in my life when the sky meant so much, as the words to the song sprang into my mind. Somewhere out there, beneath the pale moonlight, someone's thinking of me and loving me tonight. I sighed and shut the door on the memories that had returned unbidden to haunt me. Well, I hope you're enjoying this. If you are and would like to read on ahead, the book is available on Amazon now to download at a very reasonable price, and you can then even go further ahead and grab the sequel, Unbreak My Heart. Anyway, I'll look forward to talking to you again next week. Bye.